Welcome back to the Espresso with Omar Podcast. I'm your host, Omar, and today the goal always remains the same, which is to provide you an espresso shot of motivation, encouragement for your day, for your week, for your year, and for your life. And today, I really want to focus on this idea of getting back into the gym. So today I really want to focus on this idea of getting back into the gym. So it's not uncommon for many different situations for you to be going hard at the gym, going 2 3 months hard, maybe even a couple years or a year, and then for something to happen and get thrown off. Your whole schedule gets thrown off, and I'm talking, maybe your work schedule changes and you were really accustomed and locked in going in the mornings, going in the afternoons, and now because of your work schedule change, you're stuck in having to figure out how to go to the gym, how to get back in. Or for other situations, maybe you have a baby on the way, maybe you had to move to a different location, maybe you had to move to a different city, to a different state, or maybe you just started a family, you just got married, you're kind of spending more time with your wife, or maybe you got into a new relationship with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, and now you're trying to figure out how to get back in. Or you just had a child, maybe you're the mom, you just had a child and you took some time off to deliver your baby, and now your baby's a year old and you're trying to figure out, how do I get back into the gym? And this is a huge challenge for a lot of people because there's a lot of mental and a lot of physical challenges that come with wanting to get back into the gym. So I want to kind of touch on this and hopefully motivate you, encourage you, and give you some practical tips on how to get back into the gym when you encounter a hiccup in your routine, in your schedule, in your life, and you're trying to get back in. So, first and foremost, one of the biggest common complaints that I hear, or just a reality of wanting to get back into the gym, is this idea of a perceived judgment from others. And this is really important because it really holds people back. This is not a physical limitation. This is a mental, perceived situation that limits momentum, or that limits movement. And as we know, when you are locked in and you're working out, momentum is huge. So getting started and getting back in to get momentum is super important. But a lot of people feel like if I go back, I'm being judged, or people are looking at me at the gym. They're going to look at me different, look at me funny. People are going to say things about me because I'm maybe bigger than I'm accustomed to, or people are going to see that I'm coming back to the gym and it's been a while, and people might have some kind of judgment. So this is a very, very common challenge because a lot of people experience it. And whether it's you're getting started for the first time or trying to get back, it seems like this perceived judgment situation comes back up, and it really stalls getting back into the gym. So believe me or don't, because I also have some statistical evidence here, but believe me when I say no one is judging you in the gym. No one is looking at you. No one is talking about you. No one is judging you. And if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Let's look at some statistical data about commercial gym members. About 21% of commercial gym goers are regulars, or everydayers, that people that go to the gym every day. About 50% of gym attendees are there maybe 2 times per week, and the rest don't show up at all. So the odds that you're going and the people that were there when you were going are going to be talking about you, remembering that you have stopped going, are very low. Only about 21% of the people who are there are going every day. And if you are going every day, then you're not judging others. You are trying to get other people to be healthier, to improve their lifestyles and their workouts. People who go every day are not fixated on if you're there or not. Right. So you can't worry about those. And then about 50% of people are there maybe twice a week, which means that they don't know that you haven't been there. They don't know that you're getting back. Maybe they're trying to get back to, maybe they're trying to get their routine going again. And then for the rest of the people there, maybe it's their first time. Maybe they're just starting. So this is super important to kind of hold on to, because when you're there and you start to think people are looking at you, think talking about you, judging you for being out for a while, remember that that's not the case. Statistically, it's very unlikely that the people who are there remember when you were there and are talking about you now that you're going back. I think another point on this judgment or this perceived judgment from others is, when you're there, are you judging other people? And I think this is important because sometimes we project, and I do this myself. This is something that I have to check myself, because sometimes when I'm very afraid of others being critical with me is because I'm usually critical with others in this specific arena, which highlights the need from me, or highlights the need that I need to start having more grace for others, because I project that others are judging me because maybe I'm a little bit judgmental in this arena. So something important to keep in mind is, like, are you afraid that others may be judging you because you have a little less grace for people in that situation yourself? So just something extra to throw in there with this mental block that really prevents people from kind of jumping back into the gym. Another one that's really it's kind of like in between mental and physical when trying to get back into the gym is this idea of all or nothing, right? All or nothing thinking, or black or white thinking of all or nothing, is I don't want to go back to the gym unless I have a great program to follow. I'm dieting really well, and I know what days I'm going to go. My schedule is clean, and I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. If it's not like that, if I'm not able to go 100%, go all out, I'm not going to get started again, because I don't want to fall off after going one day or going a couple of days. And this is an interesting one because it enters a space of a physical challenge, because once you're getting started again, you're not going to pick up the same exact weight or the same exact program as when you were locked in going consistently. You probably want to start up slow. You don't want to jump in at 110%. And I'm going to leave an asterisk on that one because I do want to say something about hard workouts. But you probably don't want to start out going 110 balls to the wall workouts when you're getting started. So to make that the benchmark for getting back in, to saying, well, if I can't go 110%, if I can have the perfect workout schedule, the perfect weekly schedule, my diet on point at the perfect time, that I'm going to be coming back every day, then I'm not going to get started. I think is a very, I think it's a self-limiting procrastination that you're imposing on yourself. I would say if you can only go once per week, go once per week to get back in. I have my jujitsu coach made this point to me one time, because I was trying to get back into jujitsu at that time, and I was like, well, I can't make 2 classes a week. And to test for belting up at the end of the month, you need to have about 8 classes. So I was like, well, if I can't make the 8 classes, then I don't want to get started. And he said, can you make one? Can you make 1 class a week? Start there. So it's kind of the same approach here. Don't set a limiting benchmark on yourself when you could just get started wherever you are, one per week, or maybe you can only go and do a cardio session a week, but that's where you're going to get started to get back in. And to the physical limitations that also exist, and this is fully kind of going into the physical space, not the mental challenges, but it's a lot of people when they haven't been to the gym in a while, whether it's months or weeks or years, they think they need to start up exactly where they left off. And this is a huge mistake. This is a major mistake. On my journey, many times I've had to restart the engine or reignite the engine. I have two children. I have a full time job. I have a business. I'm doing my social media. I'm training for jujitsu. And many times I've gotten sick. There's so many things that have happened. I've had to take some time off. And then when I'm getting back in, I'm very aware that I'm going to do what I can get done, right? I'm only going to do what I can get done. I don't want to feel this the overwhelming pressure to push at the same level than the last time I was there. I'm starting back up again, so I'm gonna be okay with whatever I get done. If it's only two sets for squats, maybe it's just one set of whatever the exercise is, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna take it because I'm getting back in. This is my new baseline that I'm going to be setting my new benchmarks, or this is the new baseline that I'm going to be setting as the foundation of the new metrics that I then progressively overload from, right? If the last time I was there, I hit 275 on bench press, and this time I only hit 185 for two sets, that's okay. I'm not going to expose my body to a potential risk or to potential injury or put myself in a position of hurting myself or risking hurting myself when I'm trying to get back in, because that will actually be counterintuitive to the goal at the moment, right? The goal at the moment is to get the engine back on, is to get back into routine, is to get back to the gym and keep a new gym routine. So if I hurt myself on day one, day two, day three, when I'm getting started, I have just screwed the goal, because the goal is to get back in. It's not to hit a new PR. Super, super important when wanting to get back in, right? From the mental to the physical. At the physical level, you're not pushing at the same exact weight or the same exact rep range or whatever perceived. You're not going to be at the same RPE. You're at the rate of perceived exertion. You're just not. It's going to be a lot lower. It's not going to be as intense. So that's a very a physical challenge that people have, is this idea that they have to go all out, and if they're not going to go all out, then they're not even going to get started. Just get started. Do what your body can do at that moment. That's your new baseline. Build from there. Now the asterisk on this is super important, because on my journey, I have found myself having a really hard time starting the engine, reigniting the engine. I've gotten comfortable, maybe not training as much, and then I need to get the engine going. I need to kind of push. I need to go through a phase where I got to push harder than where I'm at, and maybe go back to a program that I was locked in on, and I was pushing really hard, and I've kind of taken some time off. Some things have happened, schedule changes, and I need to get back to that level. And the asterisk that I put on this is that sometimes when you're having a really hard time reigniting the engine, having a really hard time pushing yourself again and pushing yourself back into the gym or back into a workout program, sometimes it has been very useful on my journey to get a really, really hard workout done. And I usually, tag in some either buddies of mine, trainers of mine, and I say, hey, can you work me out on, Saturday? Can you train me on Friday? And I go for people who usually are going to push me to my limits. And when I'm trying to get the engine back on, when I'm trying to get back into the groove, back into the flow, back into the gym, into the training mindset, sometimes going through a very difficult training session turns the engine on, because you're pushing yourself past the limits in one session, maybe two sessions, so that when you're back into your normal routine by yourself, you you already pushed really hard with someone else, so you're going to push a little bit harder this time around by yourself. The engine is on, the engine is running, because you maxed it out. I think a good analogy for this is, if you have like a you have a piece of technological equipment, a camera, you have a microphone, you have a car, a machine, and you want to know how fast can you rev this thing, right? You want to know if this thing's going to last. You want to know if this thing can take some damage. So you go and you try it out in very tough, rough terrain. whether it's a truck, whether it's a camera, whatever it is. You're going to try it out on some rough, tough terrain. And then you know this piece of equipment is going to last. It's ready. It's ready to be pushed at the time. It passed the test of time. It's going to last. It's going to be good for a while. So it's kind of what I do with my body sometimes. When I'm having a really hard time reigniting the engine, I go and rev it. I go and rev the engine in one session, pushing myself really hard with maybe a buddy of mine or a trainer of mine. And now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Now I know where my limits are, how much I've pushed, and then my workouts feel intense, feel locked in again, like the last time I was locked in. So that's kind of like a little cheat code if you're really having a hard time getting back into the gym. Maybe you've gone a few times, maybe for a few weeks, and you're still not feeling like you're locked in, you're not ready. You may need to rev the engine. So here are some of my tips, right, from beginning to end. First of all, no one's judging you. Just get back in there. No one remembers that you've taken some time off. Just get back in. That's a very self-limiting perception. Number two, it doesn't have to be perfect to get started, right? Or to get back in. You don't need to have the perfect routine, the perfect structure, or the perfect workout program to get back in. Just get back in. And you don't have to go all out when you get started. You're actually going to put yourself at risk of injuring yourself. Listen to your body, go one exercise at a time. The goal here is to get the engine back on, right? It's to get back in, to get the rust off. And then once you've done that, maybe for a few sessions, maybe a couple weeks, you're kind of feeling, like you're back in, you're there, but you're still having a rough time getting the engine started at the intensity level, like at where you used to be when you were locked in. Then maybe you got to rev the engine a little bit. Maybe you got to work out with somebody else who's going to push you a little harder or maybe you got to take a group class, do something where you're going to be pushed a little bit harder than you've been pushing yourself to really rev the engine. And then once you get back to your just single or back to your workouts with just yourself, your sessions, you're going to be pushing a little bit faster because you rev the engine. So here are some of my tips on how to get the engine back on or how to get back to the gym, because this is a common experience you're going to have. You're going to have things that come up. Life is not linear and always the same. That would be boring. Things happen. You start relationships, you start families, work changes, where you live, you move to a new place, your gym gets packed. Like, all these things can happen, and they lead to you maybe taking some time off. And before you know it, it's been weeks, or it's been months, or it's been years, and you're just, you're looking at that gym bag hanging from the front door, super dusty. You're looking at all your gym clothes that you bought, and that monthly gym membership is being charged, and you see the charge. You're like, oh, what am I gonna get back in? Oh my God, it's been so long. Follow these tips. These tips are gonna help you get back in. Overcome some of those mental and physical barriers, and get the engine back on and get back in. So if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to Espresso with Omar channel. Give me a like on this video. Leave me a comment. What is your biggest challenge when getting back into the gym, or when starting the engine back on? Let me know below. And of course, you can follow my gym community at Gym with Omar on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on all the socials. And you can also follow Espresso with Omar on Instagram, on YouTube, and listen on Spotify as well. Once again, thank you for all the love. If you have already subscribed, if you've already given me likes, but I want to motivate and encourage you guys to stay on the path, to stay the way, stay on the road to growth and to better health. So if you haven't been to the gym in a while, this is your time. This is your message from the universe to get back to the gym, no matter how long it's been, weeks, months, years, whatever. This is the universe sending you a message to get back into the gym. And here are some tips on how you can get that engine started again to lock into the gym again. Thank you so much. This has been Espresso with Omar. I'm your host, Omar. Have a wonderful day.